I am going to do one example with you for the status, and then I'm going to let you do the last two. So doing it together is going to help save some time, just because this is a little bit more confusing. So we're going to do status, and status is these success, error, and warning buttons down here, these colored ones. So let's do one together. Let's go into our themes, and if you go back to the notes real quick under, where is it? Button variations solution. I have this status. So to Brent's question, now I'm going to actually create a status object that has some of these status colors in them. You can copy and paste this. It might save some time as opposed to manually typing them out. We're all using the same status colors, so that just makes a little bit more sense. So let's come in here and let's add our status object. Now we haven't imported these, so let's add yellow, red, and green to our colors imports, okay? So now we've got status in our theme. I'm going to do the warning with you, and then we'll take 5 minutes because they're going to be about the same. It should be pretty easy to fill in the rest once we do one. And yeah, so let's do warning. So let's go back to button. Let's add a warning modifier. Warning. No curly brackets. We're doing backticks. Okay. So it looks like our warning button needs a background color. I'm going to set this to default theme dot status, because we now put it in that status object, dot warning color. Our color, let's set that to default theme dot status dot, or not status, this is just going to be the text color inverted. Text color inverted. Now again, these are all going to have hover, focus, and active states. So let's nest that in here. So and hover. And again, my hover and focus are the same, so I'm just going to use a comma and join those. So and focus. I'm going to set background color to default theme, status, warning color hover. Warning color hover. I'm going to set an outline to 3 pixels solid, default theme, status, warning color hover. And I'm going to give this an offset. I think actually the offset is inherited already, so I'm going to leave that out. If I need it, I'll add it, but I'm not positive that I do. And then the last thing is just active and active. So background color, default theme dot status. I can't spell. Default theme status warning color active. Okay, so theoretically I have a warning modifier, and theoretically if I add it here, let's add it here. It should work, right? It looks like it works, okay? But there's a problem. What if I want this on my secondary button? Doesn't look too good, does it? So the problem with this is that we are setting the background color. And by default, my buttons are ghost buttons. They don't have a background color. So one way around this is to set different modifiers for your secondary and tertiary buttons. That's what I'm going to do today. However, one other solution would be to create an actual warning button, to create an actual warning secondary button or a warning tertiary button. What I'm going to do with this though is I'm going to set another modifier. So I'm going to say warning, what did I call you, secondary warning? I think I called you secondary warning. It didn't update, but that's okay. So I'm going to call you warning secondary. The difference here is that our secondary button does not have a background color. So background, none. And we want our border color to be default theme, status, warning color. It's very tedious. And so what I would suggest, here we go, secondary button warning and tertiary button warning. I've written these out for you. I'm not saying this is the best solution. This is the one we're going to go with today. So what this is doing is saying for our secondary button warning, these are the styles we need. It's as opposed to going and trying to like override things or creating individual buttons just for secondary warning. This is how I'm going to do it. Okay, so you can go grab those from the notes. So secondary button warning is going to have no background. It's going to have a border. Again, it's just going to use our warning color instead of having a fill. That's our neutral color, and it's going to set the text color. Same thing for tertiary button. So now if I come back and I just say, this is a secondary button, I need this modifier. The hover states are still messed up, but it shouldn't be. Let me go back. Let's see, you know why? That's why. It looks a little ridiculous now because I've double set the border here. So the reason why is I was setting styles here on this base warning modifier, right? And I'm only overriding certain CSS properties for the secondary button. Like I don't want a background on my secondary button, but I still need the hover and focus CSS here. So in my case, the way I've written this, I would need both warning and secondary button warning. There are definitely better ways to do this. But this is the one we're going to go with right now because it's very explicit. So take the next 5 minutes. The error and the success are going to be generally basically the same, right? You're just going to be changing warning color hover to error color hover. Go ahead and add your error and your success states and try to get them rendering in your UI. So try to get a success, a warning, and an error button rendering.